in listen-only mode.
Hello everybody, this is Ilan here. How you all doing? Bright and early in the morning for me, about 9 a.m. I'm in the US. I see people from all over the world and people still streaming in. Always a pleasure, and thank you for, always a pleasure to present you, and thank you for joining me wherever you are in the world. I know a lot of you have woken up really early to listen to this webinar. Some of you are staying up very late to listen to me. Always greatly appreciative, and I acknowledge that you've gone out of your way to join us here today. So today we're going to be talking about support and resistance levels specifically, and how Autochartist finds them and helps you find them. So we've got another minute or two to go. People are still streaming into the room, so I'm just going to mute myself for just a few moments, and while we wait. I do have Yvette on the other side of the line. Errol's not joining us today. He's on vacation for a few days. So Yvette will help me answer as many questions as possible while I'm doing the presentation. And then at the end of the presentation, I'll take a few answers or questions and answers that people may have, which are applicable to to everybody. I'll just ask you to keep a note of some of the more interesting questions for me. So let's give us another minute. Okay, I'm back. I think we better get going. I know everyone's on a tight schedule. Yvette, are we ready to hit the ground running?
Yes, I think let's go for it.
Okay, good. Before we get going, though, I've got two polls that I want to get from you. So, a show of hands. If you can let me know what financial instruments you trade. So that will help me, gear my presentation to the right people. You can choose more than one option, by the way. You don't have to just stick with one. You can choose multiple options. Okay, a lot of forex and commodities traders, by far the majority, and then we have stocks and other. Always interested to see what others are. Probably futures and options. Okay, great. Thank you for that. And then I have one other question for you, which is more about just market research for us. The question is, what indicators do you use? What technical analysis indicators do you use? Obviously, the last option at the bottom of your list there is support and resistance, which I guess is support and resistance in any form, either in forms of chart pattern, in the form of Fibonacci, pivot points, horizontal levels, any kind of support resistance. So you can't see the results coming through. So about 84% of people use support and resistance, about 70% use moving averages, 40% RSI, and then Bollinger and stochastic, slightly less than that. Obviously, we're limited in our webinar in terms of what we can actually list as options. We only have a maximum of 5, but I appreciate the feedback. By far, actually, moving averages by far the second after support and resistance. Thank you very much to everyone for that. That gives us a lot of, well, let me share that with all of you. I'll share that with all of you in terms of the usage. That helps us, obviously, in terms of our development, future development of product. Thanks to everyone. All right. So let's get going on this presentation. As most of you know, my presentations are, I try to keep them short because I know you all are all over the world. if I'm going too fast, tell Yvette to tell me to stop. All right, let's talk about support and resistance in general terms. The theory around support and resistance is obviously tries to indicate to us where a market is being overbought and oversold. So the theory of support and resistance has it that the price of a financial instrument, whether it be a forex instrument or a stock, an equity or a bond, reaches certain psychological levels in the market, which are indicative of whether the share price or the instrument price is too expensive or too cheap. And the theory has it to such a level, such as what happened over here, that the trend will continue. So what we're actually saying is that the theory has it that the market trades between certain psychological levels, and then if those levels are breached, it means something's happening in the market. Conceptually, this is actually very simple, of course, to understand, except it obviously takes us time to identify these types of patterns and setups and support resistance levels in the market. One can, I guess, professional analysts working at all the big banks manage to go through about 40 or so end-of-day charts on a daily basis. Just to give you an idea, that Autochartist scans about 15,000 global instruments on 15-minute, 30-minute, hourly data, 4-hour data, and 24-hour data. So we're probably scanning a total of, what is it, north of 60,000 to 75,000 charts every 15 minutes for these setups, just to give you some idea of the computational muscle that's going into our back-end technology. Now, of course, the problem is far simplified if you're looking at a small range of stocks, whether you're trading the Dow 30 or the top maybe most liquid forex pairs. But certainly still, when you multiply that by the number of time intervals that you need to look at, it's still quite a hefty task. And this is exactly where Autochartist comes in. We try to simplify that service for you. Now, this is not a tutorial about how to use Autochartist. I'll be clicking around and kind of just talking about what I'm clicking rather than as an instruction. So for the purpose of this presentation, I'm switching off the Fibonacci patterns and the completely, because I want to talk more specifically about chart patterns and horizontal support and resistance levels. And you can see those quite distinctly within the Autochartist platform through the explanation or the pattern name that exists in our list of results that's happening on the bottom of your screen. For example, this is a support level identified on end-of-day candles on US dollar Japanese yen. And you can see quite clearly that Autochartist has identified a support level which had quite a number of touching points. In the market, right? Now what Autochartist is saying to you is that this is a, with a gray arrow, right? It's telling us that this is an approaching chart, approaching support level, which means the price hasn't broken through support or resistance yet. It's still moving towards that level. Okay, now you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touching points also on this pattern. And in fact, what I like to look at in support and resistance levels is actually these breakouts as well. So you can see that what has happened, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to zoom into this image quickly. Let me erase all the drawing objects. I'm going to zoom into this image. I want to show you something very interesting, which is very indicative of strong support resistance. If you can see the movements through the support line on this candle over here was very strong, very decisive. Similarly on the candle before it. Similarly, the move through the resistance line over here was very, very distinctive. This is something that you'll see again and again and again where it really indicates the importance of certain levels. Yes, there was a breakout over here, but certainly no distinctive breakout, and certainly didn't follow through with a downward movement subsequent to the breakout. But certainly over here there was a very distinctive movement, followed through, and then traced back to what then became, in my opinion, a resistance level in the market. But certainly over the last month or so, 2 months, US dollar, Japanese yen has shown very strong support and resistance at 96.90. Now, obviously the level itself that Autochartist can come up with is rather speculative, right? So 96.90, what is the real meaning behind that kind of level? And I think, one needs to know that you can move this line up and down a few notches here and there, right? Autochartist is really an automated recognition engine. It's not a human mind, but if you apply your logic to it, you can see quite clearly that this is basically a support level at 97. Now, what you'll find is that the more round the number, the more significant this level is, right? So if you ask me, Ilan, what do you think is a little bit of turmoil, it's broken through a few times, it's bounced back a few times, what do you think the significance of this level is? I would say, well, the fact that it's touched it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 times, as well as the fact that it's the support levels that are around a very round number of around $97, I would say that this is a very, very strong support level for this instrument. Now, of course, one would ask the question as to how one would trade such an instrument, and this is a very good question, because there's multiple ways in which we can trade this instrument. The first way, what we can do is we can actually set an order right now in the market, a short position, open a short position at the current market price, with potentially a take profit at $97. So that's one way you can do it, and there's plenty of pips in there. There's probably north of 120 pips available in this in this potential move. However, if you're more risk averse, you could do other things with this. So you don't have to take a position right now. You can actually watch this position and wait until it breaks through, and then open a position. If it reaches, for example, 96.50, you can open a short position. The theory behind that being that once the price is broken through the support level, one could take a short position and the trend would continue going downwards. You could be even smarter. You could take advantage of some of the more interesting type of orders you can do in your trading platform. For example, you can set a stop or limit order, depending on which way you're going, but you can set a pending order down at 96.50, right, to go short. All right, so that's also a very interesting way of playing it. So instead of having to watch the trade manually, you can actually set a pending order at 96.50. Your broker will keep track of that pending order, and as soon as there's a breakout through the support level of 97, you'll obviously get executed into the market on the downside to go short. There is yet a third way in which you can actually trade such an opportunity. This will take a bit of effort, a bit of manual effort, but it's also quite interesting because, what we could take really two views on this. Is that when the price of the Japanese yen hits this price around 97, it could either break through or it could bounce back, right? So one thing that I would do certainly is I would do something like this, potentially set a pending order short down at 96.50, and then set myself some kind of alert at 97, and then watch it from when it reaches 97. If it reaches 97, either it would go through 97 and hit my short position at 96.50, in which case I'm in the market already, or I would wait for a bounce back up to, for example, 97.50, in which case what the market is telling us is, hey, I've reached the support level again, but I'm not ready to breach it. And so it's potential that if the price hits 90, 97, bounces back to 97.50, there's potential to actually take a position at a long position at 97. So I urge you to look further than Autochartist's arrow, right, of what it's telling you to do. It's telling you what it thinks is the current trend in the market, but you need to apply your rational human logic to the opportunity. Let's look at one or two more examples. Let me just choose another example. Okay, here is an example on US dollar Swiss franc. Now, before I actually zoom in, let me go back a bit and let you show you. Can you see the little red arrow over there? The little red arrow tells us that this is not an emerging pattern like the previous one, right? It means it's actually been a breakout through the support level. Now, let me zoom in a bit. Let's give it a moment to come up on my screen. Okay. I'm watching your view. Okay, there we go. Everyone should see my screen now. All right, so now Autochartist, you can see, has seen a breach through a support level, US dollar Swiss franc, and that breach was at around 91.47. I would say 91.50 is a nice round number, 92 is a nice round number. So I think, yes, definitely this is a significant support level. In fact, one could argue that maybe the support level should have been drawn at close slightly higher up, but I think Autochartist has taken the last low value through which to draw the level. But I think maybe the support level maybe should be around 92 or 91.75, I'm guessing. Again, quite a nice level because it's been touched a few times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times maybe. Came close or touch that level, and now there's a breakout. Now, if you remember the previous opportunity I showed you, Autochartist identified the opportunity while it was still approaching. And similarly, we would have expected Autochartist to identify an emerging opportunity probably at the, I'm guessing at around this level over here, at about $93. Would probably have received an alert telling us it's an approaching opportunity. If you had taken that opportunity at that time, obviously you would have made some money. Although if you did what we said in my previous discussion, which is take a pending order, chances are you would have been in the market now at around the 91, I'm guessing 91.40 level and 91.35 level. You would have been short in the market. So right now, over the last few days, you would have been neutral. You probably would have been in the money, on your trade, and expecting the trade to actually follow through down to 0.90 level. So again, now the question is again now, how do you trade this opportunity? Is this opportunity gone? Are we not able to trade it? The answer is no, it's not gone. The answer is there's been a breakout through what I would regard as quite an important support level, rather quite a significant support level, seeing as the number of touching points has been significant. And I think there's still opportunity here because the price hasn't moved through this level yet. And if you're worried about this little hesitation, if you can see Autochartist has drawn some transparent candles at the end of our forecast to show what's happened subsequent to the forecast. There's been a bit of hesitation. This doesn't necessarily mean that the price is not following through. There's always pullbacks, right? You can't expect the price to go down forever. So right now, what I would say is there's certainly an opportunity to take a short position. If you want to be very conservative, you could take a pending order short at 0.9050 and a pending order long at 0.92, right? So that you can catch the position on either side of the movement. So if you see a big movement down, short, you can expect it to follow through, almost as a confirmation of the breakout. If you see a movement up to 0.92, you can actually then have your pending order and your broker execute for you to assume, hey, this wasn't a breakout, and the price is actually rebounding off this support level. So again, take the Autochartist arrow with a pinch of salt. So I guess I'm trying to show you the different ways in which you can trade with Autochartist. One thing I must point out is one should never trade support and resistance purely as a signal. Okay, it's another tool in your arsenal, right? It's another tool with which to analyze the market. And let me talk about that a little bit more and elaborate on what I've been doing for you in this presentation. Many of you may or may have noticed the fact that I'm looking at certain specific patterns, and that's the fact that I'm looking at end-of-day patterns. Similarly, we could look at stock patterns at the end of the day. Autocharts will actually look at many different things for you. You can actually find these support resistance for you, these levels for you on intraday patterns as well. I'm looking at end of day because for me as a trader, the more liquidity and the longer the pattern is, the more I believe there's significance in the resistance or support level. And again, I want to come back to why I think that. I think that because we need to come back to the theory of chart patterns. The theory of chart patterns is market psychology. Right? If you believe that market psychology can play out in a matter of 30 minutes or 60 minutes, then you can most definitely ask Autochartist to find you all the support resistance levels on intraday. So we can quite easily do that. You can go and click on new search. You can select Forex intraday patterns, and you can create a search, and in a matter of a few seconds, Autochartist will find all these support resistance levels for you on intraday, right? So here's some support happening on Euro New Zealand dollar on a 15-minute pattern. Okay. Now, yes, it looks like it's quite a nice support level. If it's significant or not, I'm not sure. Of course, you need to decide on your level of comfort from a risk perspective. But certainly, I would say the most significant patterns are definitely the ones that are, the most significant levels are the ones that are identified on end of day or daily, or on a daily basis, purely because there's just more liquidity and more psychology happening in that market. Let me click back onto our end of day patterns. Wait for that to come up on the screen. Okay. Now, again, if you are looking to trade trending patterns, if you're comfortable with trending support and resistance levels, Autochart will show this to you in the form of chart patterns. However, if you're only comfortable in terms of horizontal levels, you can do a number of things with Autochartist. You can actually untick the chart patterns, right? And then Autochartist will only leave for you the patterns identified on horizontal levels, right? You can see here it's just support and resistance, and the little icon, two lines, shows you the little icon. It matches our key levels product. Key levels is actually horizontal, the horizontal support resistance levels. So if you only want to trade those, you can actually get Autochartist just to show you those patterns. Now, I do something slightly different in my trading. I like to enable chart patterns, okay, but what I also like to do is I like to make my filter criteria slightly more complex. So if you actually click on this little edit search button within Autochartist, you come up with the ability to edit the search criteria. And if you click on advanced search, you'll see a whole new world opens up, so to speak. And you're given the ability to search for many different types of criteria patterns. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip through pretty much the whole thing, except go to the very bottom of this advanced search screen. And that's where we have the pattern types. Now, if you're the kind of trader that only one who looks for horizontal support and resistance patterns, Autochartist allows you to just say, click on horizontal patterns, and you can see that Autochartist will now eliminate all the non-horizontal patterns. That means it will eliminate all the trending patterns. It will eliminate the triangles, the channels, the wedges, everything that isn't formed around a support or horizontal support resistance level, right? So it will only leave the tops, bottoms, triple tops, triple bottoms, the head and shoulders, the ascending and descending triangles, right? So what you can do is you can save the search, And what will happen is that Autochartist will go back to that has for those criteria. All right. Now, this will obviously take a little bit more time because it's a bit more of an intensive search on the database. But here it is. It comes back. And now what you can see is that we have quite a nice list here, because this is support and resistance, including chart patterns, but only on opportunities that are formed around horizontal levels. Okay. Now, this is extremely, extremely powerful stuff because it eliminates the need to look through masses of lists. Now, you're probably wondering at this stage, why am I so focused on horizontal support and resistance? Why am I not talking about trending support and resistance? It's a very interesting question now. We found, actually, we have empirical evidence, but let me talk about the non-empirical evidence. Many traders think not in trending levels, they think in horizontal levels. That means it's very difficult to convince a person to identify a support resistance level that's moving upwards. Most people look at those as trend lines rather than support resistance through which you can trade breakouts. We also have empirical evidence. If you click on our performance statistics section, I'll just move away from that in just a moment. And by the way, sorry, the reason I'm pausing once in a while is obviously to let your screen update, because it's in my screen what you're seeing. So sometimes you hear me hesitate when I click around, but that's I'm waiting for your screens to update. If you look at the statistics around support, the horizontal levels that are identified, performance on these levels is really significantly better than the performance around trending chart patterns. This, for example, is our performance around horizontal support resistance levels, and our current performance over the last 6 months is around 70, well, overall 72%. You can see it hovers between kind of 72 and 80, depending on the instrument and the length of pattern. But essentially, we hit our forecast region, north of 70% of the time. If we look at, in contrast, if we look at the chart patterns, what I'll do here is at times, okay, you can see that ascending triangle has done really well.
Ilan?
Descending triangle done well, double tops done well, double bottoms done well. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. I think there might be a problem with your sound. You're breaking up quite a bit every now and again. You want to maybe just have a check, look what's going on that side.
Yes, everybody, please bear with me for just one moment, everybody. Hello. Yvette, what I've tried to do is I've closed down a few applications on my computer, and I'm hoping maybe my computer wasn't fast enough to run all these applications in the background while I'm doing the presentation. So I hope it's going to be a little bit better now.
Okay, I'll let you know. I'll interrupt if it becomes bad again.
Okay, if it becomes bad again, what I'll do is I'll phone through.
Okay, great.
So just let me know, all right?
Will do.
Okay. So where was I? I was talking about the horizontal levels. You can see that the horizontal levels are the ones I'm circling now. And we can see that the vast majority of these levels do really, really well. Whereas the other levels right, which is not the trending levels, the trending chart patterns, do okay, around 66%, but certainly the horizontal levels are far, far more effective in terms of analyzing the market. So now, I hope I answered the question that's in all of it. Why am I focusing on horizontal levels? Right? The reason is because we have empirical evidence that they are far more effective as a trading methodology. Of course, I leave it to you to look at the details around these kind of levels. So essentially, I think that presentation is about 30 minutes. That's what I was planning to do with all of you. I guess at this point I'm ready to take a few questions and answers if there are any that you want me to deal with.
Yeah, Ilan, if you want to open up the questions pane, you'll see that I've marked a few questions. I've flagged a few questions if you want to run through those in the meantime.
Yes, give me a moment. Let me open that up. Sorry, everyone. I'm a better trader than I am a technologist, so sometimes it takes me a little while to open everything up. All right. Okay, so I see there's some payment questions. Yvette, I'm assuming that you've dealt with the payment questions.
Yes, I'll deal with those.
Okay, so let's deal with Ronald. He posed a very good question. What does it mean when one is watching for pullback after breakout? All right, this is a great question. Thank you, Ronald, for that. Let me try and find that example that I was looking at before. US dollars Swiss franc. Okay, now this is a great example. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to I want to, if you just bear with me, I'll try and capture this, capture the screen, and so that I can show it to you. All right. So if everyone can see my screen over here, there has been a significant move through support and resistance. Oh boy, it keeps on disappearing off my screen. I wonder how I can do this. Excuse me all. Let me just quickly switch to a different application. Bear with me, everybody, because I want to illustrate it. Okay, I hope everyone can see my screen again now. Basically, I've just copied and pasted that image into Microsoft Paint so I can illustrate it. Now, as you can clearly see, there was a long downward trend over here, right, to get through the breakout, to get through the support level on this US dollar Swiss franc, right, the long trend. Now, as we know in financial markets, things don't just carry on going up or down forever. Right, they go up, they go down, and you get these kind of zigzags in the market. So logically, one would expect after a long trend such as this, yes, there's a chance that the trend may continue, but there's a very strong likelihood that after such a big move, there'll be a slight pullback in the market. That means a pullback in that direction, right? Now, what we can see here is that there was a breakout through a support level. And then on the end over here, you can see that the market is hesitating, right? It hasn't followed through on that breakout. This is what I call a pullback. Now, this doesn't mean that this price is not going to go to 0.89, right? It might not. But certainly, as I was saying before, an opportunity that you may want to consider is actually to take a pending order at this level, long, or a pending order at this level short. Excuse my drawing ability, I'm not a big paint expert either. So one could take this type of position to say, you know what, I can see it hesitating. Let me be conservative, wait for a break, even more of a confirmation of a breakout to go short, or let me wait for the pullback and then think that it's actually going to rebound off this level and actually go long. So I hope I've answered that question. So I'll move on to the next question. Mamoon, what is the logic? How Autochartist identify just based on the basis of initial breakout? No. So Mamoon, the Autochartist identifies two types of patterns. It identifies patterns which are, let me switch to the other screen again. Let me switch to my other screen. It identifies patterns that are either on support with breakouts or patterns that are still in the process of actually forming. Okay, so we don't, a breakout through support resistance is not a prerequisite. Okay, if you only want to look at breakouts, then you must uncheck these two columns on the right-hand side of the filters, uncheck this emerging and approaching, and then you will only have opportunities based on breakouts. Okay, Jonathan asked, what instruments would you use for the indices, the SP 500, the Dow Jones, and the Footsie 100? What I would recommend is not to search for them specifically. You can create a search on indices, okay, and then I think that the group is called Index, and then you can actually see the indexes listed on the bottom. So if you're looking for the Footsie 100, that code on our system is called LF. If you're looking for the Dow 30, that's called Dow space 30. If you're looking for the S&P 500 index, that would be SPX. Okay, so that's just to give an idea of the codes. If you're looking to find information about the market coverage of the version of Autochartist you're using, you can click on the Resources and Education section. And you can click on the instrument coverage link on the Resources and Education section, and that will actually give you a list broken down by exchange of the instruments that we cover and types of indices. You will see the indices that we cover, that we cover, for all the other indices, for the other instruments. I see there's a question about MT4. So if you want to use the MT4 platform, the MT4 platform, if you're using that, if you're not a stocks trader, if you're mostly a FX trader, then you would click on the, under the Resource and Education section, you would click on downloading the MT4 plugin, which is a link here under Downloads. Now, it's a very good question from Ad. He's using one broker specifically who licenses the technology from us and offers the product for free. Now, I want to point something out, that the product I'm looking at right now is our direct subscription product, where we have basically covered global markets. If you're getting the product for free from your broker, chances are the only instruments you will see under the trading opportunity section are the instruments that broker offers to trade. Okay, so if that offers you, our broker offers you the ability to trade, for example, S&P 500 mini or futures or CAC, or those are the instruments or just trading opportunity screen. If they only offer you Forex, you only see Forex opportunity. If you feel that there's an error where you're seeing instruments on your platform that you don't see reflected on Autochartist, then please let us know. You may have a data issue. But essentially, you should see on your Autochartist platform all instruments through that broker. I see the sound is still breaking up.
Hi, Lan. Yeah, it is breaking up a bit. I don't know. Do you want to still phone in, or what would you like to do? It's just every now and again.
Let me phone in. There's still another 5 minutes. There's still five more minutes. So let me quickly dial in. Give me one moment, everybody.
Great.
Give me one moment.
Thanks, Ilan.
Hello. Is this any better, Yvette?
Yes, that sounds much better. Thanks, Ilan.
It does. Okay, great. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm not quite sure why I have a bad connection. I should have an infinite amount of bandwidth here. I must be my computer's mic or something. I really apologize for that. Let me carry on asking answering some of the questions. Again, with regards to MT4, there's Fernando's asking another question. If the MT4 plugin works with both FX and indices, the answer is yes. If your broker offers the MT4 plugin to you, it should work on any instruments you find on MT4. If this is not the case, please let us know and we'll resolve the technical issue. Sometimes it's difficult for us to keep up with everything, with all the brokers and all the data feeds we have. Yes, Raman, the answer to your question is yes. I've tried during these questions and answer sections not to mention broker names because we have many customers from many different brokers coming to us. But if you have a broker-specific question, please feel free to send us an email to support@autochartist.com. If you want to subscribe to a full version of Autochartist, I'm not quite sure why you would want to do that if you get it free, but if you do, just go to autochartist.com, click the, let me actually go there right now. You click the autochartist.com website, and once that comes up, let's give that a moment. On the top right-hand side, you've got something that says free sign-up. You click on free sign-up on the top right, and then there's a buy button on the right-hand side saying buy now, $20. We just had to change our credit card vendor. If you have any trouble subscribing, please let us know. We also do have a PayPal account. But I mean, the truth is that you know, if you have a free Autochartist through a broker, there isn't really a reason for you to subscribe directly with us. Okay, I think that's the end of today's session. That was about 45 minutes. I appreciate everybody's attention to this. A recording will be available, I think, by tomorrow. Thank you, everybody, for waking up this late at night or this early in the morning. Please send us an email, support@autochartist.com, with any questions you may have. Enjoy the day or enjoy your evening. Goodbye.